What's up YouTube? My name's Lisa and welcome to my channel, Lisa in Wonderland. This is going to be my very first YouTube video that will follow my journey on the Fall 2018 Disney College Program, or the DCP. I am beyond excited, and you guys are going to have to bear with me while I figure out this whole YouTube thing. So thank you so much for watching. Today we are going to do the DCP tag. I thought it would be the perfect way for you guys to get to know me and who I am before we start the journey together with my fall DCP program. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, so without further ado, let's start the video. Question number 1. How did you hear about the program? I actually just graduated from college in May, and I had a friend who went to this school with me, and she's a year under me, and she was doing the program for spring of 2017, and I got to know her through cheerleading a couple years beforehand. We were on the same squad. And when she went to Disney, I thought she was living the dream. I couldn't believe that it was possible to work at Disney, and I said I would love to do that, but I never thought it was really an option for me. I was about to graduate school, and to me, living reality meant that I couldn't go to work at Disney World, right? I would talk to her and watch her journey on her social media and live vicariously through her, and it was absolutely amazing. And one day in March, I was sitting at work and an ad for the program popped up on my computer, and I thought, that's pretty funny. That's the program that my friend's doing. So I clicked on it and thought, I want to know what it's like to apply. I'm never going to get it. I just want to apply. So I clicked on the application link and I filled out some basic information about myself, and it said, congratulations, you've applied to the Disney College Program. And I thought, wow, that was kind of easy. I thought there'd be more to it. There was, but I didn't know that at the time. So I thought, okay, I applied to the Disney College Program. I applied for a job in Disney World. What the heck, right? And then I got an email about 30 minutes later that said, congratulations, you've moved forward to the next step, and we'd like you to apply for a web-based interview. And I thought, it's web-based, it can't be that hard, right? So I filled it out at my desk, and I did it to the best of my ability, as honest as I could, and I thought, okay, I did the web-based interview. Next, I got an email about 45 minutes later that said, congratulations, you've moved forward, and we would like to schedule a phone interview. And this was the first time I was like, whoa. This is a big deal. I live in Ohio. I kind of need to tell my family that I've just applied for a program in Florida because they want to interview me on the phone. So I called my mom and I said, hey, I applied for Disney World. And she was shocked, but beyond ecstatic, because I've loved Disney since I was a little girl, and it's a big deal in my family and in my home. And she couldn't be more ecstatic for me. She said, definitely schedule the interview and we'll see what happens. So question number 2. How was the interview process? Well, for me, it was pretty sudden because, as I mentioned before, I didn't really know much about the program and I kind of applied on a whim. I didn't know what I was doing and I kind of just followed the steps, and it didn't really get scary or even real for me until the phone interview. Leading up to the phone interview, I didn't think anything of it. I thought that there was no way I was going to get into this program. Working for Disney was such a crazy thing. So it never crossed my mind that I would actually be doing a real interview for the company. When it came time for the phone interview, I got serious. I was studying everything I could, looking up blogs, looking up vlogs, looking up people's YouTube videos of their phone interviews, talking to my friend who was already in the program, doing mock interviews with her. And then when the day came, I laid out 4 pages of notes in front of me of any question I thought that might come up with my solid answers, and I was ready for that interview. I had Disney music blasting in the background. I was sipping tea out of my Little Mermaid mug, just doing my best to get prepared, and I was terrified. Now, I'm an actor. I minored in theater arts in college, and I've been in the theater for 10 years, and I absolutely love it. I love being on stage. I love performing. I love being in front of an audience. And getting that phone interview was probably one of the most nerve-wracking things I've ever experienced. I get stage fright, I get terrified before a show, and I was a cheerleader, so I'm used to tryouts and auditions and all of those things for theater and cheer, but this was a whole new level. I was auditioning for my dream job, and I couldn't even fathom the changes that it was going to bring in my life. I was terrified and excited and everything in between. And I thought, this is it. This is my moment. I was ready to write down my interviewer's name and give the best, most honest interview I could with a big Disney smile on my face. And that's when it got serious for me. But the pre-interview process was pretty easy, I think, just because I didn't put enough pressure on myself, and that probably ended up being a good thing. Question number 3. Where were you when you found out? So if you've applied for the Disney College program and you're watching this video, you know, you understand what comes after the phone interview. The interview process is great. You apply online, you get a web-based interview, and when you're lucky, you go through to a phone interview, and those all happen in quick succession. And then you finish the phone interview. And then there's the next stage, the wait. After the phone interview, everything stops dead. It goes from 100 miles an hour to 0, and you have to sit and wait. And wait and wait and wait. And if you're like me, you subscribe to DCP Kirk and DCP Christie's tweets, and you wait for them to tell you there's going to be a wave. And I did exactly that. I followed them on social media, I joined the Facebook groups, and I was waiting for them to post about waves. And the day came where I was accepted, and there was going to be a giant wave, one of the last waves before the applications closed. And I knew that I was most likely going to be on this wave, I was going to catch this wave, or be NLIC'd. And I was not ready to be NLIC'd, but I knew that it was a possibility. So I waited with bated breath that whole day. And I remember it was finals week at my college, so I had a paper due, and that whole day, I had an 8-page paper due the next day. That whole day, I should have been working on it, but I couldn't because Kirk was sending out acceptances, and I knew he was sending out acceptances because he was posting the letters that he was on all day. My last name begins with an M, so no matter where he started, I knew I was going to be smack dab in the middle, and he started with A. So I followed him all day long, every time my phone buzzed, to see what letter he was at. And it was about 8:30 at night when he got to the M's. And I knew he was at the M's because he posted on his Twitter a little gif of a dancing M. As soon as he posted that tweet, I sat back, I closed my paper, and I kept refreshing my email. And I lived in a house with 2 other roommates, my best friends in the whole world, and they were coming into the kitchen where I was sitting and yelling at me for not doing my paper. And I knew that I was supposed to be, but when it comes to that point, and I knew that email was either coming or it wasn't, I couldn't do anything but sit and stare at the screen. And it just so happened that when I got the email, I looked away. So I was looking at something, I think I was changing the song on my Spotify. I got the notification sound that I got an email while I wasn't looking at my screen. If my mouth had been open, my heart would have come out of my face, landed on the table in front of me, and continued beating. I was terrified. So I sat there and I looked up at my screen, and I swear this moment happened in slow motion. I refreshed it, and the first email that popped up was an email from recruiting, and it said, "Congratulations," in big capital letters. I slammed my computer shut, sprinted up the stairs to where my roommates' bedrooms were, stood in the hallway, and screamed at the top of my lungs, "I got it!" And they said, "What?" And they both burst out of their rooms, and I said it again, and I started crying, and they started crying, and it was a huge emotional sob fest, and I sprinted back down the stairs and realized that I had to call my mom. But there was a problem, which leads me to question number 4. What is your role? So I realized that if I was going to call my mom, she was going to have a million questions. I needed to know what my position was, but I hadn't even opened the email because I was so excited that I got in. So I needed to open it and read what I was accepted 4. At that point, I didn't care. I would have accepted any role Disney could offer me. So I opened my email and I found out that my role is going to be attractions. So I was beyond excited. That was one of my top roles that I put in when I applied. I love it. I love the idea of being able to interact with lots of guests and make magical moments happen, and I'm so excited. I can't wait for my location reveal. It's going to be an ecstatic couple days when I move down to Orlando. Number 5, how did you find your roommates and how many do you want? So I did what most people do. I found my roommates on the DCP Facebook pages. I went up and I posted a roommate survey, and I was contacted by one of my now roommates, and she said, hey, we think you'd fit great for this group we're starting and we'd really like you to join us. And she was right. She sent me the surveys for the other girls in the group and they all seemed perfect. They're a great group of girls, and there's going to be 6 of us, and we're hoping to get a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2 to a room. We talk every day. We have a text group chat and a Snapchat group chat, and just getting to know them already has been the most exciting thing, and I can't wait for move-in because it means that I'm going to get to see them, meet them, do roomie gifts, all the other fun things. We've clicked already, and I'm sure you guys will see them in the vlogs once I move down and start my journey. Number 6, what are you going to miss while you're on the program? This is a hard question because, of course, I'm beyond excited to go on the program, and it's hard to think about the things that I'm leaving behind. As I said before, I live in Ohio, so moving to Florida is going to be a big move for me. Here in Ohio, we have every single season, every single day. We have rain, snow, sun, heat, cold, everything. The weather out here is crazy, so moving down to Florida, where it's going to be hot and rainy, is going to be pretty interesting for me. I am ready to cope with the heat, but I know that it's going to be a big change for me. That brings me to another thing I'm going to miss is obviously my family. I'm going to be gone for the first time in my life over the holiday season, and here in my family, holidays are a big deal, and it's going to be really hard to say goodbye to them and to not be here during the holiday season. And it's just going to come down to a lot of positivity and being ready to take this opportunity as once in a lifetime and have those stories when I'm back for the holiday season next time. And then the last thing I think I'm really going to miss is my dog. My girl Lily is my best friend, and I've had her for 10 years, and she is my whole heart. I'll put a picture of her right here. She is the greatest dog in the world, and I know everybody says that about their dog, and it's true. Every dog is the greatest dog in the world, and my Lily is no exception. I'm not excited to leave her behind, but I can't wait to buy her a ton of merch and bring it home and spoil her rotten when I get back so that she forgives me for leaving her for 6 months. Number 7, what's your favorite Disney park? This is a hard question because I've actually only had the opportunity to go to Disney World one time. I've never been to Disneyland, and I've never been to any of the other Disney parks. That's not for lack of trying. I just never really had the opportunity to go before, and I got to go this past summer and spend a week in Disney World, and it was the time of my life, and it was just as amazing as I could have hoped it would be as someone who grew up in the Disney Renaissance and on the Disney movies, just like pretty much everyone else on the DCP did. That being said, my favorite park while I was there was the Magic Kingdom. I had the time of my life there, and it was mostly because Alice is there and Ariel, and those two are my favorite princesses, my favorite Disney films. I have a lot of favorite Disney films, surprise, surprise, but Alice and Ariel are my favorites, and getting down there to see Alice and Ariel for the first time was breathtaking. Seeing the castle, it was the typical I'm home feeling that you probably experience or you've heard friends talk about. DCPers, we are kindred spirits. We understand that feeling of the magic of Disney. And so when I walked into the Magic Kingdom for the first time and I walked onto Main Street, it was real for me. The Disney magic was tangible, and that moment made Magic Kingdom my favorite park. I had wonderful experiences in every single one of the parks, but Magic Kingdom brought the Disney magic to life for me for the first time, and therefore, right now it holds a special place in my heart. I'll have to update you guys after my program and see if my favorite parks change, but right now it's definitely the Magic Kingdom. Number 8, first thing you want to do when you get there. So the first thing I want to do when I get to the DCP is visit Disney Springs. As I said, I've only been to Disney one time, and I didn't get to go to the Springs, and I hear such wonderful things about it and wonderful things about the Disney store, how big it is, how grand, and I can't wait. So the first thing I want to do when I get down there is go to Disney Springs. Now, to edit that question a little bit, the first thing I want to do when I start my DCP, so as soon as I'm done with traditions, I have full access, I'm officially a cast member, I want to watch Happily Ever After. Now that might sound cliche because it's a common thing for DCPers to do when they start their program is to go to the park and watch Happily Ever After. But for me, it is really important to me that the first thing I do is go to MK and watch Happily Ever After with my roommates. We're already planning to do it, and the reason that that's such a big deal for me is, and becoming a part of the DCP is one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. And getting there and watching my program commence with Happily Ever After is extremely important to me because I know that that's how it's going to start. So, first thing I want to do when I get to Florida is visit Disney Springs. First thing I want to do on my program is watch Happily Ever After. Okay guys, so I actually forgot number 9 on the DCP tag, and that was, what is your number 1 bucket list item? And my number 1 item on my DCP bucket list is actually that I want to ride every ride at Disney as well as every ride at Universal Orlando before I come back. I can count. The last question, number 10. What is one thing you hope to take away from the program? This is a really hard question because Disney right now already means so much to me. It's been a main part of my life since I can remember. So the DCP to me is huge, and I already know it's going to change me fundamentally as a person. But if I have to pick one thing that I want to take away from the Disney College program, I want to know that I changed someone else's life. Now, a big thing for me is creating magic for people. Even before I accepted a position with the parks, even before I get down there and I start making magical moments, I love to help other people and to make other people happy and to do things for other people. So when I get down there, I want to use that to my advantage. The fact that I am a cast member means that I have magic powers and I want to use them. And if I can walk away from the Disney College program knowing that I made one person's life fundamentally different, even in the smallest way, that will mean that I have succeeded my Disney College program. I just want to know in my heart that I made a difference for somebody at the Disney College program. Okay guys, that was the DCP tag, and that brings to a close my first ever DCP video. There will be plenty more, so please click that little button down below that says subscribe, and if you want to know when I'm posting, click the little bell and you'll get notifications to your device that tells you when I've posted a new video. You can definitely expect to see more. I plan to vlog my whole trip. I have plenty of fun YouTube ideas. I have a lot of ideas for things that I want to do information-wise for new DCPers or for people who are thinking about applying, and I plan to have many magical adventures while I'm in the place where dreams come true. Please subscribe, please click the notification bell if you want to keep watching my videos. Thank you so much for tuning in for my first video. I can't wait to post more, and I'm Lisa in Wonderland, and we'll see you real soon.